Hello. Welcome to today's session. I'm Sarah Evans. It is about Reiki energy healing. In fact, if anyone wants to write and say about your experience of energy healing, if you have any, I'm really in this session today. I'd really like to talk about what Reiki and energy healing is and what it isn't, to kind of debunk some myths and misconceptions about what energy healing actually is. And I want to talk to you about the benefits of Reiki and its myriad applications in your day-to-day life. Um, and then I'd like to talk and share with you about my course, because next week I have a Reiki Level 1 course. Here's my manual that I wrote for it. I'm very excited about that. Um, so I wanted to just kind of talk and share about the wonderful world of Reiki. So do put in the comments if you have any burning questions. Feel free to ask really naughty, difficult questions. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Have you experienced Reiki before? Maybe we'll start there. Is anyone here never experienced Reiki and I've got no idea what I'm talking about? Because it's kind of good to kind of level set a little bit about it. So Blake says, that sounds great. I'm fairly new to the Reiki world. Neve said, I had a teacher who's trained in Reiki. She tried a little on me. I didn't feel anything at the time. My therapist is trained in it. She says she can feel my emotions before I say them, even virtually. Katrina says, I have used YouTube to learn a little about Reiki and I've used it with some success on myself. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, well, and hi Stacey, you're new to Reiki. Awesome. Have you ever experienced a Reiki healing, even if like it's on a guided meditation track or an Insight Timer or something like that? It's okay if you haven't. By the way, tomorrow, so anyone's here signing into this thinking that this is a energy healing, not quite. Tomorrow I'm going to do on Insight Timer and energy healing actually at the same time as this tomorrow. So if I pique your interest and you want to come to that session tomorrow, I would love to see you there. It's a free offering to this community. I do remote Reiki healings, group healings online twice a month as a donation-based activity. Um, sorry, just thinking what someone's but okay, Blake says I've never had an in-person session. I've done a couple of sessions as like timer. I think an in-person session will be very powerful, relaxing, and focused. Great. Yes, remote versus in person is actually an interesting topic, one I can definitely speak to. Um, But I'll just quickly introduce myself and what I'm here to do. So, hi, I'm Sarah Evans. I am a Reiki Master Teacher located here in currently sunny Sheffield, UK, in the northern England of the UK. And I kind of fell into Reiki through my own chronic illness journey. And I started to, I first found Reiki myself when I was crashed out, bedbound, very depleted and fatigued. And I was just kind of, it had this little like idea in my head, oh, it's something that someone has said to me on my podcast. I'm a Reiki teacher and this is something that works for me. And so I thought, okay. And I clicked on a link and I started listening to Reiki recordings on YouTube. And I found that listening to the remote Reiki healings on YouTube, that it was really helping me. And I could feel things in profound ways. And long story short, I did manage to recover from that fatigue blip very rapidly, probably in part to all of the Reiki I ended up doing. By the way, you can't overdose on Reiki. There's no such thing as too much Reiki, by the way, if anyone's curious about that. But basically, off that, I was so curious. I kind of like, I think I was originally quite skeptical about energy healing. I was like, how could that even work? What do you mean? Like, this doesn't make sense. But I was so like amazed by what I had personally experienced that I booked the Reiki level one with my master teacher, and the rest is history. And here I am 3 years later, offering the same course online. Um, Here's my lovely manual that I've created for the course. It starts next Friday, so a week tomorrow, Friday, the 15th of May. I have level one on the Friday, and I have level two after 3 weeks on the 12th of June. And there's a special bundle price to take both if anyone's super interested in taking both. Um, I'm going to get onto the topic of what Reiki is in a minute, but I will just add to this that I've tried to do a course that was both modern and traditional Reiki, because traditional Reiki is very, very particular, very Japanese, very exact and very structured, and modern is more intuitive, more flowing, more kind of inviting in boundary crossing and things like that. So I try to come up with a model that makes the most sense to me and the most aligned to me, whilst being 1 hour shorter than it usually is. So it's going to be a concise but comprehensive Reiki training. And the same day I will pass a Reiki attunements. And then at the back of this book is your 21 days of homework to do a journal of the first 21 days of self-healing. So Reiki 1 is mainly about self-healing. It's about opening up to healing on the physical level and self-healing. And you can do in-person Reiki when you feel called to work on somebody else's energy. And then Reiki 2 is opening up into the mental and emotional levels and is where you get all the symbols and able to do the distance Reiki. So, yes, that's in a nutshell. I won't keep going on about that. So, to the topic. The topic in hand is what is Reiki, what it is, and what it isn't. Okay. If anyone wants to chime in on the chat and tell me what you think Reiki is and what you think what it means to you and what have you've experienced, feel free to jump in and write that down. Oh, Neva's saying about interesting to hear about your chronic illness that brought you to it. Yes. I'm trying to use more alternative therapies. Yes. Your conditions like MS are rare. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And you're in South Wales. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Sherry. I'm actually working with somebody quite extensively who has MS or MS related illness. We'll get into what Reiki can do. But just kind of to start off with what Reiki is. So what Reiki is, it's a little hard to explain. I often tell people, the best way into Reiki is actually to go and have an experience of it, to actually just listen to a track and just see how it makes you feel. Because it's a little hard to explain in a way that makes sense if you've never had an experience of Reiki before. Um, I'm sure if people are writing in to say, well, how you feel about Reiki, you can feel a wave of relaxation. At the very least, your sleep will be better, right? But what's happening? How does it work? So, Reiki is actually let me just go to my notes here a second. Oh, of course, it's jumped around to something else. Sorry, 1 second. I want to get this right. So Reiki is from the Japanese. So Rei is universal and Ki is life energy. So Ki or Chi or prana is that life energy, that energy force that all of us have. In fact, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, if you've practiced yoga or something like that or acupuncture, you've probably dabbled in this area before. But if you want to just experience your chi, your energy flow for a moment, you can just simply get both hands and put them towards each other and to see if you can feel a point where you feel some resistance. Okay, so everyone just do that for a second. Do you feel some resistance? Resistance in the force? I would bet that you do. It's a point where it almost feels like a bit like fluffy or zappy or there's something there. I mean, obviously, I'm attuned to Reiki, so I'm going to have a probably a stronger sensation, but you can feel something there, right? And then, so feel free to write and let me know if you do feel anything. And then, likewise, if you put your hand up against something white, like a white um, piece of paper or a white wall, you put your hand up to something white and just kind of relax your eyesight slightly. You should be able to see an outline of your energy around your fingers. And some people can see the colors. This is of the auric field. Some people can see the colors. Some people can just see like a little bit of blurring or a little bit of visible difference, right? This is your energy body. Everybody has one. You wouldn't be alive if you didn't have one. And actually, everything has energy. This glass of water has energy. This computer screen obviously has energy. My watch holds its own energy frequency, right? So everybody has this energy, and this is what I'm talking about universal. So Ray, universal, key, energy, because it's universal energy. That's what we're made of. That's what everything's made of. What the earth is made of. What light is made of. It's all just universal energy. All right, and it flows through all living things just the same. I would say as well, Reiki is subtle. It's powerful, but it's subtle. It's incredibly gentle. Like a lot of people, like the overwhelming sensation is just like, oh, relaxation. Oh, it feels so nice because it's a very gentle experience. It's loving, it's kind. It has its own intelligence, but that's probably a deeper conversation. But essentially, it's completely harmless. It can only help you, and it's very gentle and loving energy, basically. So it's a non-evasive healing process. And a Reiki and energy healing can send healing across all levels. So, of course, it can help you on the physical level, but it can also help you on the emotional level, on the mental level, and on the spiritual level. And also, the reason why Reiki works, the reason why I can be in Sheffield, UK, and I can send Reiki to someone in Sydney, Australia is because it doesn't abide by the physics laws of space and time. It does not, it's universal energy that's outside of the logic of space and time. Okay, so you can, when you get off this today, you can go click on my overnight Reiki healing recording, and you'll receive the Reiki healing of a recording just the same as if I was doing it to you in person right at that moment, because it's outside of space and time. I know this might be a bit kind of naughty and a bit like, really, are you sure? But I would urge you to try. I have an 8 hour overnight Reiki healing here on Learn It Live. I'll experiment tonight. Just please, just do me a favor. Just click on it tonight as you go to bed. Just let it run all night. It has a very low, or like a very minimal musical track, which you can sleep right through. You can put it on low. You can actually put it on silent, and you'll still receive the healing. Okay. And I promise you, you'll wake up the next day and you'll be like, yes. I had a lot happen. It was really great. A lot of things came up. Yes. Because it works the same whether it's live or on a recording, which is why so a lot of people get bogged down with wanting to have in-person experience of Reiki, and by all means, that's lovely. If you live near to someone who offers Reiki, great, try it, wonderful. But for the first year or so of being a Reiki master, I actually gave all of my Reiki online, and it works just the same. It works just the same. Um, and through that, I managed to really have so many different experiences and help so many different people, so many conditions. And we'll get to that in a moment about the different conditions that can assist with, because it really can. assist with just about anything. All right, let me just look at my list again of what it is. Okay, so Reiki is a complementary therapy. Complementary therapy. And what do we say about this? We say no one who's an energy healer or a Reiki practitioner says or should be saying, have Reiki energy and then you can go off your medications, you can not have surgery, you can not have chemotherapy, you're going to be healed just with the Reiki. No, no, no. No, it's a complementary therapy. And actually, intuitively, as I'm doing a Reiki healing on someone, I'll actually receive messages that, like, oh, like I told someone the other day, that their ovaries were undernourished, and their body was literally saying to them they should try a additional progesterone and estrogen. Oh, I've forgotten the name of it for perimenopause, right? And so I literally said, as a Reiki practitioner, look, I'm receiving this information, just pass it on to you. You might want to speak to your doctor about having some hormone treatment, right? HRT, that's it. Because, yeah, but by all means, I've helped two people with cancer, and by all means, it can might very much assist with really difficult gnarly conditions, but no one is saying here, like, oh, we can heal you miraculously, you don't need that chemotherapy or something like that. No. What we're saying is the chemotherapy might miraculously work much quicker, and it might miraculously mean that you don't lose your appetite like you usually would, or things like this. It can be complementary and beneficial alongside more traditional medicines. Okay. All right. And so, yes. Okay. I wrote down a list of a few things that Reiki isn't. What is Reiki not? Okay, so number one, so because it's universal energy and the practitioner is actually kind of channeling the energy through, the practitioner doesn't give away their own energy. You're not giving your energy to the client receiving it. No. I mean, certainly if you book too many sessions in one day and spend the whole time standing up giving the treatments, then that could be depleting. But it's not your energy that you're sending to the client. It's universal energy that's flowing through you to the client. Okay, so that's um, a normal one that a lot of people get mixed up about. Okay, it's not a religion. Not a religion. It's not aligned with religion. I would say though that so I am also a yoga teacher, so trained in the yoga tradition, and I would say that a lot of the understanding of the energetic body, with like the chakra system, for instance, is aligned. The yoga tradition is aligned with the Reiki energy healing tradition because, as far as I can see, they both have it right. That we have a chakra system through the body, our energetic body, and we all have an aura, an energetic field around the body, and that's what we're working with the Reiki healings. Okay. I would say as well, so it's not a religion, and it's not, so a lot of people get a bit, particularly online, people can get it a bit twisted and be like, oh, it's wrong because blah blah blah, I'm evangelical and it goes against my religion. Well, no. Actually, I strongly disagree that you can practice any faith and you can also have energy healing. It's not one or the other. Energy healing is not something sinful or bad or evil or from the devil or kinds of craziness that some people might write online. It's not. In fact, I will say, when I explained to my mum what Reiki was, so I was raised Catholic, and I explained to her, in the Bible, Jesus has the laying on of hands, right? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's literally what Reiki is. When Dr. Usui went to Tibet, found the Tibetan scrolls that Yeshua had previously read, um, that's the lineage basically. So essentially, this might sound controversial, but essentially, Jesus was an energy healer, and the whole kind of miracles thing, energy healing. Okay. Okay, but anyway, that might be a little controversial, and obviously with and like anything, take what you want and leave the rest. If that sounds too insane for you, that's fine. But that is my explanation of why it can't possibly be against Christianity, because that's what Jesus was literally doing. Anyway, okay, it's not magic and it's not a miracle cure. Um, so. It's not magic, it's not miracle cure. So whilst that is true, that it's not magic, it's not a miracle cure, I would say I have seen so many things happen through energy healing that are a little bit on the miraculous side of things. Okay. Like things that kind of go outside of the realms of what seems like normal or, of this world or something like that. But essentially, it's a form of healing, just like anything else. And also anyone can do it, and it is for everyone. It's for everyone. And actually, everyone are able to be trained and attuned to Reiki as well. It's not some like elite private members club. It is actually I'm blanking on the word I want to use, but it's like the human inheritance. It's for everyone. It's for the planet. It's for everyone. It's for our highest good to have this modality available to you. And it does sit aside and complement pretty much anything anyone's doing ever. It's the way I see it because it is so gentle and it is so flexible and adaptable. Okay. So yes. All right. So feel free to write in the chat if you've got any questions or anything's popping up for you about this. With these things, I often feel like I'm just kind of like talking, talking, talking. Feel like a lot of talking. So Neve says it's interesting that it worked through an audio track. I thought it was a transfer of energy from one to another that linked had to be between two people. No. So this is something that you learn in Reiki too, which by the way I'm doing on the 12th of June. All is welcome to attend. Um, but basically, when a practitioner makes a recording, you can set an intention that the recording, so the Reiki flows to anyone listening to the recording at a later date or any point in time. Okay, and that's essentially how that works. But it does work. And I really strongly suggest you go and try it because it's really cool. The one I have on Insight Timer, the 8 hours overnight one, is like my most intense Reiki healing like I could possibly do, like to really blast you. Because obviously, because I come from working predominantly with people with long COVID, ME/CFS, POTS, so really chronic and difficult, challenging conditions. I try to be quite powerful and strong with my Reiki energy approach because I just want to see as strong and as good an improvement in a short space of time. So that's why the one on Insight Timer is 12 system approach, and you will feel stuff. You'll feel twitching, you'll feel energy, you might feel hands, like sensation of hands, you'll feel stuff. I promise you, you will. Anyway, I feel like I am getting sidetracked slightly. Um, Hi, Jacqueline. Yes. Okay, so benefits of Reiki. Let's talk about what Reiki people that experience Reiki healing can benefit from. I would say that the universal experience so I have actually given Reiki healings to thousands of people at this point, thousands. I've actually lost track at the over 5,000 point. It's been many thousands of people, so I have a quite comprehensive knowledge of this. Um, but the thing that everybody reports without any doubt is that you feel a greater sense of relaxation and you sleep better. So those are the two that's universal across everybody. Um, and by the way, Reiki will work whether you have an experience or if you think you don't. If it feels like, I don't feel anything, I don't know if anything's happening, it will still be working. I can assure you. I know that doesn't really help you if you're very skeptical, but it will, and you will sleep better at the very least. You will. Okay. Um, it supports immune function. So I actually just posted on my blog on my website. By the way, my website is in my profile, and the website link is there. Fun fact, it is the exact same as my profile name on Insight Time, sarahevans.co. But I just posted a blog which goes into the scientific evidence, the proven scientific evidence about Reiki. Because I really wanted it to be evidence-based and to really get into the nitty-gritty of what. So I mean, I evidentially I have like personal experience that it works, and I have spoken to so many clients who've had really positive and often transformative, powerful effects. But I wanted to show the science behind it. Okay, the science does show it improves immune function. It reduces stress and anxiety because it provokes a parasympathetic nervous system response, which again, if you are well versed in chronic conditions, that is the rest and digest mode where healing actually can happen. So the fact that it triggers that instantly, it's been proven to trigger that within the first 5 to 10 minutes of a 30-minute session of Reiki, shows just how powerful it is to really help you. Okay, another study showed that it eased pain by 60%. 60%. It eased pain and inflammation, right? And it enhances mental clarity and sleep. And it can be used on yourself, so I can heal myself. I often do. My favorite is if I'm finding it hard to go to sleep for whatever reason. I just lay my hand on my forehead as I'm lying in bed, and I will just drift off to sleep just like that. You can heal yourself if you have a period pain, you can just heal it just like that. And by the way, if when you're Reiki attuned, you'll never have cold hands again. I wish I'd told that 10 years ago, because I struggled my whole life with cold hands and feet. Not anymore. You'll never have cold hands again. Okay, so it can be used on yourself and it can be used on others. It can also be used on animals, on pets, on plants, on houses. I have Reiki. In fact, someone right here listening live had their house Reiki'd by me. So she can attest to that if she wishes to. Um, but so you literally can send Reiki energy to anything. Something I love to do, I do monthly for my in-person clients here in Sheffield. I do monthly aromatherapy mixes, and I infuse that with Reiki too. So when someone's spraying it on themselves, they're also receiving Reiki, right? Amazing. Um, and some everyday uses of Reiki. So a great thing to do on the everyday is to cleanse through your energy field. In fact, I'm happy to do one of those with you in a second, if everyone's interested in that. I did cover it on an earlier session, but obviously some people might have missed that session, so I can do that. Um, you can Reiki. The uses of Reiki are actually endless. Um, Example, something that happens to me frequently is I reach into the fridge and the milk is a day out of date. And I look at it and I go, oh yes, I'm Reiki master, I can Reiki it. I mean, obviously, if the milk was massively out of date and you open it, it stank and it's like solidifying or some craziness, like nah, it's okay. Don't. But you can Reiki some milk and make it fresher again. I often Reiki my food. So if I'm cooking a nice meal for my family, I'll often just send Reiki into the food so we get the maximum nutrition out of it, right? Anything. I have an electric bike. The battery on it, I Reiki the battery and it lasts longer. Things like this. You can literally Reiki anything. And yeah, in terms of yeah, so I'm just seeing that Stacey's written about you say you have MECFS and POTS MCAS. Yes, I mean that's basically where my I came from with all of this because I had long COVID and so I had a diagnosis of ME/CFS myself, and it was when I was bedbound with a fatigue flare that I got into all of this because it really, really helped. And so I do have offerings to send a regular Reiki. So I have something called my Reiki subscription model, which is specifically designed for people with really difficult and dense situations to send Reiki every 2 to 3 days. And that's like really has, I mean, I did put in my notes that it's not a miracle, but I have seen results that the person involved was like, this feels like a miracle to me. And I'm like, okay, great, I'm glad for you. Hooray. Right. But yeah, I've had Reiki clients going through cancer treatment. I had somebody who recently had a cancer tumor in the kidney, and we made sure that it remained in the kidney until he managed to get the surgery out. And I helped with the healing after the surgery. And miraculously, he has, despite the fact that he's 80 years old, he made such a quick recovery from the surgery and he's feeling great and the cancer is nowhere else in the body. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just so glad. So glad for him and so glad to be involved in that experience. I had a lady come in with a huge cyst on her back. It actually looked like a huge lump. I measured it and it was 10 centimeters. So it was like this long. Like, and that was like the radius of this it was a non-cancerous cyst on the back. So I sent Reiki. In fact, I think she came 3 weeks in a row. This was in person here in Sheffield, and I Reiki'd every week. And by week three, it had shrank from 10 centimeters to 4 centimeters. And I just wish I'd got a before photo and an after photo because that was such categorical proof of the power of energy healing, right? She didn't do anything else. She didn't do anything else except from come to see me 3 times. And she went back to the GP, and the GP was just like amazed, and she's like, "We've never seen this happen before." And so, well, there you go, right? Sorry, I could go on and on about anecdotes. I don't know if you want to hear more about this, or if you have any particular questions that you want answered. Um, but yeah, I love energy healing. I love talking about it. I'm so happy to have found this modality, which sits so nicely alongside what I've done before with yoga and guided meditation and things like that. And it sits alongside all of the fun stuff that you can do as well. Lovely testimonials. Okay. I actually didn't really prepare testimonials to talk about, but I definitely can probably tell you more. Um, okay, so I've talked a lot about physical ailments. Maybe we should talk for a moment about non-physical ailments, right? Um, okay, I'm not going to stick about go off on a tangent, but I'm not going to be too controversial. Um, but I have something that happens frequently is I have clients come in that are in a very difficult life change circumstance. They might be going through a divorce. They might have lost their job. They might have had to downsize their house or something dramatic and painful has happened, right? And so I can help people through the Reiki, through healing on the emotional and mental side as well. So yeah, I had someone come in who was going through that like massive life challenge with like losing his job and a lot was happening. And he booked I think he booked fortnightly sessions for 6 months. So I saw him regularly. And over the course of the process, we kind of felt in to what was really troubling him. Things bubbled up about his inner child that we managed to heal. Um, he realized that through the Reiki healing, he came to an epiphany about wanting to have a career change anyway, and to create his own business as a business coach, which he's now doing. And he just like the transformation from when I first the first came in, and he was just like so depleted and so down and so withdrawn, to like the end when he's just like almost like a new person entirely. This is the effect that Reiki can have on a person. It's really quite special and pretty awesome, to be honest. Oh, Nasha says energy healing has been an absolute essential in my healing journey. Yes, 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 yes. All right. So feel free to ask me any other questions. I'm gonna take a sip of water. I'm like talking a lot. Um, I'll mention quickly about healing places as well. So I've healed a lot of houses for people. Um, so I had somebody. In fact, I had quite a few, I guess you could say, haunted houses, houses that didn't feel good, that someone felt like they're being watched, things were happening that were weird, like some, freaky stuff, I've been into a few situations, both in person, I've gone to visit the house, and also visiting remotely through distance Reiki. But I've definitely healed some very interesting situations where there has been like a death in the house, and this like stagnant energy. Some people call it ghosts, some people call it earthbound spirit, some people call it you're crazy, whatever you want to call it. I have removed a few of those through Reiki, which has been very, very interesting indeed. Um, and and sometimes when you're healing like houses and places and things like of that nature, it's not even like an entity or something like outside. It's actually can be just dense emotions. Like in this house, there was a lot of grief or sadness. So there was a lot of, difficult circumstances, and it can bring the energy down in a house, which I know might sound a bit weird and maybe a bit woo, but this is the sort of experiences that I've had on this journey. Um, like I healed a house where there was like this deep sadness energy in someone's bathroom. And I don't really know exactly what happened there, but there was definitely like I almost like got the sensation that someone had been like crying in the bath a lot, and like that had kind of like sank into the room in a weird way. But anyway, long story short, you can send Reiki healing, Reiki light into rooms, into people, into whatever, just as long as you always have consent. This is not something that you can just unilaterally do. There are some healers out there that are a little bit looser with ethics around it, but essentially, if you try and send, if I try and send you Reiki right now, and you're like, no, I don't want it, I literally won't be able to. Like nothing would happen, right? Nothing would happen at all. So someone's saying, am I late for Reiki? Um, well, actually, the Reiki healing is tomorrow. So, yeah, so I'm talking about what Reiki is and talking about my training session coming up. But the healing is actually tomorrow at the same time tomorrow. So you haven't missed it. You're just a day early if you want to have a Reiki energy experience. And by all means, you all come on down to that. I knew this would happen, that someone would be like join the session and expect a healing. I can send you a quick Reiki healing if you really like. Um, I can send you a quick zap of Reiki energy if you want to just kind of have an experience, but this is not what I wanted to do in the session today. I wanted to talk, just kind of like kind of get into it a bit about what energy healing is and how it can help you. Um, And I would say as well, so I think I mentioned before that anyone can do Reiki healing, anyone can do energy healing. Absolutely, you can. This is not an exclusive field. This is not something that takes many years of research and training. You can train and do it in 3 hours, which, by the way, is what I'm doing next week. Um, so if you're very curious about this, if you would like to learn how to heal your own self, which is your birthright, you have the power to heal yourself, and you have the power to heal yourself from absolutely anything. I mean, um, maybe there'll be a category like if you were okay. All right, so if you're terminally ill, then maybe you can't heal yourself from that, but you could extend your life through Reiki by like extending your life expectancy. Okay, something like that. Okay, but it is very very powerful and very very um just lovely. Frankly, it's really lovely. Um, so next week, Friday the 15th of May, I'm doing my Reiki, Yusui Reiki Level 1 training and attunement session. It's bookable via my website. In fact, you can't miss it if you go to my website because I made it pink up as an announcement today so that no one can miss it. Um, Someone's asking if there's a specific Reiki certification or training you recommend. Yes, how about mine? Next week we have this. So I am a Reiki master teacher. And so next Friday I am offering a Reiki level 1. I mentioned it briefly at the start, but I'll mention it again. I have combined intuitively through I've given Reiki to over 5,000 people at this point. So there's been um, a lot of different experiences. But I've basically designed a system which teaches Yusui Reiki, both traditional and modern, so quite comprehensively, but also over 3 hours rather than 4. And the reason why it's 3 hours, not 4, is because I'm going to give the attunements later on in that day. So we'll do all the training, get all the materials, you'll learn all about it, be able to ask all the burning questions. And then later on that day, I will send you the attunements, and then you'll be attuned to Reiki level 1. And then, so you will be immediately able to give self-healings to yourself. So I will teach you how to do the hand placements. We'll talk about traditional hand placements and then more modern hand placements. Um, Obviously, there's quite a comprehensive conversation around the energetic body, the chakra system, and how Reiki flows into that. There is some quantum physics involved, but I've tried to make it as accessible to everybody. But I personally, it's why I did this blog about the science behind Reiki, is because I really want to get to the nitty-gritty of how it's working. Because I want to know how it's working. I'm an evidence-based kind of person. So that's what I convey in this course. Um, so let's see. So, and we talk about the history as well and the lineage of Reiki. Um, and something that's come up a lot in my practice, I say thank you. Something that's come up a lot in my practice is I've tracked it. I don't know whether there's been something in particular that's caused this, but I've attracted a lot of people who have been attuned to Reiki, but like in my mind, not in a supportive manner. So I've had people come in and be like, "Yeah, I was attuned to Reiki, but I've got no idea what I'm doing. It makes no sense to me. I don't have any confidence with it at all." And to me, that is just like terrible. And like as a teacher, I would I would quit my job. I would I don't know what I'd do. I'd be very, very sad if anyone took a course of mine and didn't walk away feeling supported and feeling like they understood all the concepts and didn't feel they completely empowered to go ahead and do it yourself, right? And so that's why we have the 3 hours next Friday. And then 10 days after that, we're going to have a half an hour additional Zoom call. So in the interim, we have a daily, so in the back of here is your self-practice journal. So every day I set you the challenge of every day over the next 21 days after receiving the attunement of doing a self-healing. It can just be 15 to 20 minutes. It's not a huge time in like requirement. But to do a healing on yourself every day for 21 days, which is what I did. And it's such a great way to really feel confident, to really experience a lot of different techniques. It's a way to start to appreciate and understand what feels good and most aligned for you personally, because everybody's different. I have certain things that I love to do in my Reiki that is unique to me, right? Because you find that through regular practice. So this is a requirement of the certification that you have to submit to me your 21 days of journal. And then after the 21 days, I will then receive the journal. I will send you out your certificate for level Reiki 1, Reiki level 1. Okay, lots of hearts coming in. Yes, you agree. And in that interim time as well, I'm offering a Telegram private messaging. So this is a way I think it's just a really nice way to build community as well as be able to reach me. So if anyone has any burning questions, they can put it in this Telegram and I can review it regularly and answer anything that might come up or arise for somebody. But at the same time, you can share with your peers in the class, right? So it's a small class, by the way. I kept keeping it really small for this reason. Um, but you can communicate with your peers and be like, oh, I did this today. It was amazing. And like share what you want. Or this came up. Has anyone else experienced that? Whatever it might be. It's just a really lovely comprehensive way to learn Reiki. So the Reiki level 1 is on the 15th of May, next Friday. And then Reiki level 2 is after you've completed the 21 days of level 1, then we'll do the level 2. And so level 2 is when you learn the distance, the Reiki symbols, and you learn how to do distance Reiki. And that's when you can learn to do Reiki on a recording or send Reiki to your friend outside the world or whatever it is you might want to do. It's also good if you want to heal a house that's in a different city or whatever might come up. That's Reiki level 2. Um, how's this sound? I do feel like I'm just talking at you a lot. I'm seeing the hearts. How much does the course cost? So in pounds, it's £200 for level 1 and £200 for level 2. And I also have a discount bundle if you buy them both together. It's as a discounted price. Um, so obviously, if you feel pretty gung-ho and feel like, yes, I do want to do level 1 and level 2 to be able to do the distance Reiki, to be able to do the full Reiki experience, then the bundle's available for you. By the way, so there's 3 levels to Reiki. And in reality, you only need level 1, level 2 to be a practitioner. The level 3, the mastership level, is not somebody that anyone actually needs to take unless they want to become a teacher themselves. Okay, to become a practitioner, to be able to offer Reiki in person and a distance, it's level 1 and level 2 that you need. So this is basically the whole shebang that you need. And so should I just put in, I'm not sure. Oh, a second. Um, I have a feeling that I'm going to get told off for trying to do the link. Okay, so that's the link to my website. Inside time, we're a little bit particular about sharing offsite, but that's the link. And if you go to my website, it will pop up saying, are you interested in Reiki? And you click on that, and it'll take you through to the page. I also did some little introductory videos. Of course, you just had an hour video basically of me talking about it, but those are there. And yeah, is there any other questions that you have? Is anyone like, Yes, sign me up. Let's go. Let's do this. I know at least one person here is already signed up. And thank you for attending. Um, it's okay. It's okay. But at the end of the day, if this topic is intriguing to you, if you're very curious, if you're like, but how? How does this work? You know, I invite you that this is all signs that this is something that could be really amazing for you. You know, we are on Inside Time, right? The home of meditation, and kind of say that Reiki and meditation go together perfectly. And when you're attuned to Reiki, you'll also be able to get into much deeper levels of meditation. You'll also be able to intuitively receive more. It's quite profound, actually. Your astral traveling will deepen. There's so many benefits, truly. I could go on and on all day. Lou says, I really wanted to, but would like a refresher. Yeah, you know, I put on the website, you know, if anyone is previously attuned but would like still like to come back and you can absolutely get a reattunement from me, that you're more than welcome to do so. I was saying a little bit ago that I have experienced quite a few people unfortunately come through to me and say, like come through for a Reiki session and be like, yeah, I was attuned to Reiki, but they never really explained what they were doing. It didn't really make sense, and I don't feel confident with it. And to me, that does not sit well with me at all. But if you're somebody who did have attunement but feel like you could do with learning a bit more about it or kind of spitballing and like being part of a community who is going through this learning process, then absolutely I'm here to support you on your journey. Um, I would say as well, so this technically this session forms number 4 of this energy series that I've been doing on Insight Timer, and I've been posting it onto YouTube as well, by the way. And I've gone through lots of really interesting topics about energy protection, about cleansing your energy, about calling your energy back to you. And I would say as well that if you can have a sensation, a feeling for someone based upon their energy, right? The fact that you've sat and listened to me talk for almost an hour, clearly you don't mind my energy. And so that's kind of a part of it, a part of energy work is of experiencing someone's energy and feeling like, yes, this feels in alignment with me. This feels good. What she's saying makes sense to me and things like that. So if you do enjoy my energy, then I would love you to be in my class next week. All right. But thank you so much for coming. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow or next Friday. Bye bye.